I'm Barbarella Focus.
No, I'm Barbarella Focus.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're David. And
I'm a director and executive producer.
I think I'm the director too. We both do a little bit of everything. I'm looking at the camera. Good luck cutting that one. Sorry. Okay, starting again. I'm Barbarella Focus.
I'm David Focus.
And we are both executive producers of the Artist Odyssey.
Myself, I'm a photographic artist. That's how I primarily make my living.
I am a writer and producer and a columnist and a journalist. Together, we made a TV show about art behind the scenes of everything art that aired on NBC. So a little bit of everything, wear a lot of hats. Hi, I'm Barbarella. Welcome to Art Pulse TV. Art Pulse TV was a half-hour weekly program that took viewers behind the scenes of everything art in San Diego and Baja, in the entire region. So it was magazine format, 4 segments per each half hour. I hosted and produced, David directed, and we pretty much the two of us and some teams that worked with us.
Yeah.
But we won an Emmy for it, so we're super happy. We had seven nominations and each got a statue, so we're stoked about that. We got involved with the Artist Odyssey when Chris Fessenden, the founder of the Artist Odyssey, contacted us after hearing our name through some people. He was doing the startup, which is basically like Netflix for the arts. It's online arts documentaries, artist documentaries, and people kept saying, "Oh, artist documentaries, you're documenting art. Have you talked to Barb and David?" Because we were on the tail end of that TV show. There was an extended process of getting to know each other before we took over as executive producers, and still continue to form it and figure out who's what and how, because this is a startup company. This is brand new. One thing we look for, unique style and or a unique method. When we look for people, we want to know who's burning to get this message out, and what is that message and why.
In our documentary that we're currently working on about a duo called Tribal Baroque, we were first introduced to them when we went to a friend's garden party, and she had hired them to perform in their garden for the party. And we thought, wow, these people are amazing. This will make a great documentary.
Our process requires us, we fight, we argue, we have creative arguments. Before you came over today, we were yelling at each other over how to convey the intro of the Tribal Baroque piece, like this, and then in the end of it, when we're making our arguments and making our case, at the end, one of us will convince the other of a point, and we go, "You're right," because ultimately we just want what's best for the piece, and we don't have any ego in it. We just say this, we think this will be better, we think this will be better, and if you can't make your case to the other, then it's clearly not better.
And it's not personal fighting. It's just our process.
If a subject is being inauthentic, the way that I would push for that authenticity is to get them talking about different things and to take them out of whatever role I perceive them to be in.
I'm wanting to clarify that. What do you mean, see him first?
When, your first impression of him was negative for whatever reason, but you hadn't seen him singing or heard him, you just saw him. So I want to know, now tell me about, and before that, so you're doing opera, and you had gotten to the point where, and pray-formance was already a thing that he had developed. So before I get you to define, actually let me just do that now. Would you define for me, first thought as you had seen it, and then we're going to talk about how you met. And then I want to talk about how it's developed. So define in a full sentence, what is a pray-formance? With Tribal Baroque, I was concerned that they were putting on a persona of being more lovey-dovey because the cameras were there. But then, after that, we watched through all of their blogs, saw them performing, saw these other little moments caught that weren't performed for, and that was not accurate. They were being authentic. So I was looking for that, or I try to get a little more. I wait. If I can irritate them or see them irritated, then I know that they're being real.
When you're asking a subject questions that they're used to answering, questions that they've been asked many times before,
Rehearsed.
They have a canned answer, and they can be much more rehearsed. If you can catch them off guard with a question that they don't expect, or that they've never been asked before and that they have to think about, then you're much more likely to get an authentic answer.
And honesty.
We do a pre-interview with our subjects to ask them, tell us what your typical day is like. Do you have any rituals? Do you have any, well, I guess
putting on makeup, getting dressed,
daily routine? How does this go? And they describe it to us, and then we'll have them go through those motions, but we'll just make sure to be there to catch it. With Tribal Baroque, it was like with the smoothies, when they get on their bicycles to go to Balboa Park.
If I can impart one thing to somebody going into making documentaries, is do your research. I mean, even with Tribal Baroque, even knowing to do the research because of lack of time, there are things that I'm finding that were standard questions I asked that she'd blogged about. And I'm irritated about that with myself because I could have found that there and had that surface answer and gone deeper. Had I, had I been there. And it's something that I'm telling myself all the time is you just got to do more research. You have to know in advance what you need, because your chances of getting it are much higher and much more interesting if you've done your research.
You can never have too much B-roll.
B-roll's everything.
See, now it's yours too.
Well, that's one of them, but it's not the most important.
But no,
you don't even know what B-roll you're getting unless you do your research.
No, I'm saying just to have the coverage, to be able to have the footage that you can work from, to have that variety of B-roll is really essential.
I want to do one about David, and Chris wants to do one about David, and he keeps saying, when are we gonna do a documentary about David Focus, an internationally renowned fine art photographer, you know what I mean? And David's answer to that is, my studio's really messy, and so we can't, because I have a dirty ass studio, and he doesn't want, and that's why not until it's clean, which is never going to happen, because that's like our storage space in addition to all his work. Films about artists made by artists is what we're going for. So instead of your traditional newsy documentary or the voiceover narration or anything like that, we just want them to be standalone pieces of art about artists where viewers can also go into the mind. It's like this archive of all the art creators of our time. And when they're dead, they're gone. But here we'll have this archive of how they thought, why they did what they did, what compelled them, but really what we're going for underneath all of it is the human story beneath.
You could have just an amazingly crafted work that completely fails to communicate the message or the intention of the artist, and I would say that that's bad art. Whereas you could have something that you might feel that's made out of styrofoam cups or something, and you may feel that, this is not very high art or something like that. But if it successfully communicates the intention of the artist, then for me that's good art, because that's what an artist does. An artist is about
the communication. Art is the medium by which they communicate.
It's like they kind of artists commit art.
Is that camera on me?
It was kind of covering everything over here.
All right, push it that way.
Well, I'm going to turn it off once we start shooting. because I was just trying to get behind the scenes, not the
All
actual-
right. Oh God, all the stuff, all the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
secrets.
It's been on you as you've been talking.
It's
so.
proprietary. Well, I picked my nose like 4 times.
So he contacted you. What was your initial reaction when he got in touch with you?
Who the fuck are you? No, I'm just kidding.
Hi, Chris.
Joking. Technically that. Okay. Rephrase that.